Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith on the I Love CVille Network. Thank you kindly for joining us. We are going to celebrate the 4th of July for you, the viewer and listener, today on Real Talk, and we're super pumped. The fabulous Yonna Smith, you will see in a matter of seconds on today's program. Let's just put it this way. She is the foundation of Yes Realty Partners and the Smith marriage. We love Yonna quite a bit. We also love Keith. We kid because we care. We love Keith. Judah Whitcower is going to make a surprise appearance today. Why don't we go, Judah Whitcower, if you can, to the 3-shot, and let's get our fabulous panel of extraordinary pundits in the mix.
I'm going to start the show off the right way.
Oh, hi.
Oh, that's adorable. Did you get that, Judah?
Good.
We're going to have to do that again? I think there was a lot of
can't
kids.
do that again. The whole thing is over.
Judah, you missed the moment.
Oh, my lordy.
You missed the
But
moment.
he is actually working.
Oh, I know he's working. He's working hard.
No worries.
Good morning, Yonna.
Good morning. Good
How
morning.
are you?
Phenomenal. How about the rest of us? I think we're all in very festive spirits this morning, and 4th of July is just always a wonderful time to kind of celebrate and go out, have fun, and most importantly, remember what we're celebrating: freedom in our country, and it's definitely a wonderful time to be here again. Love being here.
Explain to the viewers and listeners what the 4th of July means to you.
There you go.
Like I said, just the fact that you have freedom, you have the opportunities. You can live the American dream. And I can tell you, driving into work every day and passing Monticello, and they have the American flag up now for the naturalization ceremony, just makes me super proud. I mean, really do. And I'm always happy to go ahead and talk to anybody who says, "What about America?" I said, "What about America? I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for the opportunities and the fact that
awesomeness,
my husband and a lot of different reasons to be thankful for and to be grateful for." So,
but from a perspective of an immigrant, right? This
yes,
is not your.
I'm an
naturalized
immigrant.
Citizen.
Yep.
So just for the viewers and the listeners that may not know you as I was going to say as intimately as me, but that.
I hope you do.
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
I won't go there. Thank God I didn't say that. I was worried there for a minute. I'd actually say that.
I love Keith so much.
I'm not going to go down this road.
You're not going to go down this road. We'll save the intimacy things for later. But anyway, I love it when he laughs. When he laughs, he makes the show so much fun. It's either that or he just likes really good dad jokes.
All the above.
So tell your story, right? So where you're from, right? You were born.
I mean, I think most everybody knows.
No, maybe they don't. You were born where?
Actually, I was born in Beirut, Lebanon, and but both my parents unfortunately passed on these days. But both my parents were Austrians, and obviously we are Austrian citizens, and had the pleasure of there was always a conversation in our family about the United States. My father used to work in New York in the early 50s, and my mother actually...
For American Express, right?
For American Express, and my mother actually accompanied him for about 3 months, and they both lived in New York on the Upper East Side. So, so we always had sort of a little bit of the American touch in our family, and then most importantly through music. And I think I told you that story once before, and hopefully I don't repeat it again too many times. But when I was about 7, 8 years old, my aunt actually exposed me to a lot of different music at that time, jazz and classical music. And one of them was the Rhapsody in Blue by George Gershwin. And I said to myself at that time, I said, wouldn't it be nice to kind of check this country out? I want to go there. So started really early. Lo and behold, 15, 20 years later, I run into this gentleman right here, and I said, okay, this is going to be an adventure. Let's embark on it. Let's embrace it, and I never looked back. And very happy to be here.
What was that first meeting like? Where'd you guys meet?
actually, we first met at the Marine Bar in Sofia, Bulgaria.
Yeah. So the duty that I was on, every embassy had a detachment of Marines, and it was one of our jobs to have a bar in our house.
Nice.
And
Like
we-
a drinking bar?
Oh, like
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yes.
let me.
Social. It was a
Let's
social
say
gathering.
the closest bar in Charlottesville that was as big as ours that I'm familiar with would be Tavola's bar. It was about that long. It was pretty packed. But our job, our unofficial job, because you were behind the Iron Curtain, you couldn't go anywhere,
No.
right? There was no place to go. So we had a bar in the basement of the house, and so you would have everybody from the French ambassador to one of the secretaries of the U.S. Embassy. Everybody was there on Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, and we would have barbecues and do all this stuff. But I met you for the first time.
And played pool.
And played pool together,
Loved playing
which, by the
pool.
way, lost. I lost big time. But we didn't see each other again for a year.
Yeah.
So that's like.
Did you stay in contact? No. Did you remember each other after you saw each other?
Oh
a
yeah,
year
sure.
later?
Sure, it's just by the good grace of one of his friends who rotated out, and Crazy Vince called me just 2 days before he left and says, "Hey, you wanna say goodbye to me? I'm heading out to, I think he went to Bangkok or something like
Bangkok,
that."
yeah.
He said, "Why don't you meet me at the airport?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And I went to the airport, and
I may or may not have known that she was going to be
both
there.
of these guys
Just
showed up,
saying. We were not,
and,
yeah.
and that was it. So
Yeah, we were, as Jonah's saying would be, we were not by ourselves.
no, they were having a good time. They were drinking. They were drinking all night.
We may not have been sober
Yeah.
at that particular.
So anyhow, so it was right around my birthday, and I said, we said goodbye to Vince, and then
And I got
I said,
invited.
"So why don't you come to my birthday party?"
Oh.
Yeah. So the rest was history.
So you went to your birthday party?
He came to my birthday
Okay.
party
And where was the birthday party?
at the embassy.
At the embassy?
At the Austrian embassy.
Embassy.
Yeah.
What, can I ask what birthday that was?
Well, that was 1985.
20-something.
85. So I was 23.
20, no, Shotzi. Yeah,
23.
23, yeah.
Yeah.
23, wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome. So what'd you guys do for the birthday?
And it's a family show.
No,
stop.
no. Actually, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
What did I
And-
show up with?
And the thing
Pop
is,
quiz, what did I show up with?
really the thing that I remember the most is he had a pink shirt on and brown pants. I was like, oh my God, how did this combination go? But other than that,
What
he
did
was
I have in
he
my
was the
hands?
only one who brought me flowers.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting,
what
Bulgaria.
a charmer.
Well, this was not
That was
very.
big- that
This
was-
was not difficult in Sofia, Bulgaria, with all the roses.
Because there are flowers everywhere?
Bulgaria is known for its roses.
known
Oh,
for
okay.
roses.
Yeah.
I did not know
Yeah.
that.
So anyhow, but it was still he was the only one that showed up with roses.
So did you guys hit it off the whole birthday? I haven't heard
Yes.
this part of the story.
You
Yes.
never heard this?
No, you talk with her the whole time? Did you monopolize her time at the birthday?
To be honest with you, that I don't fully remember, but I think it was because there were a lot of people there.
How many years ago was this? 30.
I mean, in a lot of ways,
I
this
mean,
is the
it's
your
37.
first date. In a lot of ways.
It was.
It was our first date.
Yeah.
It was our first date. Was that the one? Is that the one that we went? No, that was after we went out on our first date. After that, to Hotel Vidasha, right?
Was the only
So there was
restaurant.
only one
Restaurant. In
restaurant in Sofia, Bulgaria you could go to. It was owned by the Japanese, and the Bulgarian government allowed it to happen, and it was this whole thing. But it was a Japanese. It was the only place you could go out to eat something that wasn't.
Non-traditional Bulgarian or
Yeah,
Russian. Or
you know,
whatever.
so-
Actually, the Bulgarians had pretty good food, so
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Except they were not. They were all owned by the government,
Yep.
right? So, but in any event, this was the only non-government owned restaurant, and I remember the first.
This is 85.
85.
85,
Yeah,
This is
85.
well before the
Oh yeah, we were in the
communism
height of
fell.
height
We
of-
were in
Right.
the height of it.
This was the height of the Cold War.
Can you put in perspective the tension in Bulgaria at the time?
So that's interesting.
That's an interesting question.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you,
Not from the people,
yeah,
not from the people,
I
but
think
from the
it-
government and the military and the Soviet troops and stuff like that. Very much so.
Plus,
but-
you also have to remember we were pretty young at that time, so really kind of taking it all in and what this all means probably now has a different meaning than it had when we were in our 20s. The only thing that I do remember is where we really felt that it was a little different than where I grew up in, was the fact that military was around at all times. They had these military parades from May 1 and wherever their biggest holidays were, and they were running at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They were running down the main roads through Sofia, Bulgaria with these huge tanks. So you were sleeping, and literally the building started shaking just from the way that they were practicing at 2 o'clock in the morning with all the tanks. And so that's really the only thing that I do remember.
But to bring it back to 4th of July and where we're at, so one of the things we were talking about coming in here, we were kind of running off a list of countries Yonna and I have been to. And in this particular time of the world and all that stuff. So if we bumped into you on the street and you knew we were a Westerner, you needed to report that conversation to their version of the KGB. And if you didn't do that, your butt got locked up and sent away at the minimum. So there was this whole, weird thing, and it was this whole thing you needed to navigate on how you can actually communicate with people in the street, because you were putting them in jeopardy. But they wanted, and it was very interesting, that I was in all the Soviet bloc countries, right, from the Soviet Union to Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Romania, Hungary, and all that stuff, and every one of them went out of their way to have a conversation with you. Tell me what it's like, and it was this really risky thing. This is not dramatic. This is real. If they would have caught you having a conversation with me and you didn't report it, your ass went away. It went away and nobody knew where you went to, gone away kind of stuff. And they took that kind of risk to say, tell me what it's like in the United States.
To live in the United States,
right?
Absolutely.
I don't know from an Austrian perspective.
I probably didn't feel that as much as you did. Just
but
because
definitely
of the fact
once they knew you were an American,
they
went all over. Also, the black market was also really good, by the way.
I have to tell you, this was an experience.
Well, true stuff. I think time has gone by, and I won't go to jail. But
tell us about the black market.
Well, maybe in a little bit.
So I have to tell you that this was such a formative time of my life that I can honestly say on many levels, just because of the fact that I met Keith, obviously, and the fact that I was able to really start this journey to where I wanted to go to. I didn't know I wanted to come here, but I did know I wanted to come here, if this makes any sense.
Yeah.
However, now looking back, and especially when you're asking me these questions, more and more do I think, my God, I did not really appreciate what I had there in comparison to what I have now, just because of the fact that what freedom meant to me when I was 23 years old is totally different what it means to me now. At that time,
at 24, right?
That's about how old I was taking it for granted.
Yeah. Sure.
Right?
Well said. And put it in perspective, and you got a lot of comments coming in here.
Sure. Thank you.
Kevin Higgins is jabbing Keith a little bit, and he says, Keith looks way better with Yonna in the 2-shot, which is true. It's so true. Thank you, Kevin Higgins.
Thank you.
Woody
I love you too, Kevin, by the way.
Woody Fincham says, I love hearing the stories of those that have come to our country and have become a citizen. No one realizes the American dream more fully than those that have come from other places to be here. Those of us that were born here often take it for granted. Well said, Woody Fincham. So I'll throw this to you. What you just relayed to us, which was beautiful, on how the feelings that go through your body when you see this Russia-Ukraine debacle. You got a dictator taking the freedom away from good people, and if he's not stopped in Ukraine, what's going to keep him from going elsewhere?
It's a very sad, I would say sad notion for the human value and the human race, to be honest with you. And just imagine, and this is sort of when I talk to people that just gives me chills. Sorry. When I try to explain, really, especially some of the millennials, when they say I don't have a dream anymore, and I'm like, come on, let's put this down. Let's really try to think about that. Explain to me what freedom means to you, versus what you now see families being taken, pulled apart. They don't have a right to say anything. They literally are being hauled away. They don't know where they're going. They don't know if they survive. They don't know where their family members are. And they have no right for their freedom. I mean, imagine that. So putting it in perspective, really try to figure out what you have, what you're complaining about, what you wish you had, and just appreciate what I mean, you wake up every morning I say thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing me to be on this earth, to be honest with you, and to be free.
I love it.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
It. And we all, guys, this weekend, and Keith, I'll throw it to you, this weekend, we should all maintain that perspective. I mean, we got a country and a dictator invading another country, Russia and Ukraine. We got the Chinese government ordering their citizens on lockdown and quarantine and not allowing them freedom in their country. I mean, let's not take for granted what we have here in America, because it's a special place.
So, and it is a very humbling experience if you hear these stories on how folks are actually coming to the United States and what they're going through. I mean, in order to become naturalized, as they call it.
We can talk about that. That was a process for you.
Yeah, it was a process, but to be honest with you, it was a process. At the same time, I think I needed to go through this process, and thankfully I had your help to get me through that. However, I say every time I go up and go to see the naturalization ceremony up in Monticello, and I hear their stories on how they came, I'm like, my God.
So let's talk about that for a minute.
It's great.
The last few times we've done this is our third, maybe our fourth. This is our fourth 4th of July. I believe it is doing the show. It's either the third or the fourth. Normally we come after the 4th of July, right? It's just the way the rotations of the days happen. But it's free.
Yeah.
The naturalization at Monticello ceremony. I say this all the time. If you are struggling with your belief in this country,
there you go.
Absolutely,
right?
Thank you.
If you're struggling with that, right?
If you're looking for some inspiration, American inspiration,
go there. It's free. There's a portion of, I'm getting chills thinking about it.
Yeah,
There's
me too.
a
My hair's standing up.
portion of the ceremony. So it's it's the longest outdoor court. It's a court. It holds court. There's a judge and there's a whole process in it. But at the end of it, when it all happens, the judge throws out to the newly minted Americans to tell their story.
Tell their stories.
And it usually starts off slow, right? You have one, like anything like that. Somebody pops up, and it goes on, and you hear these stories of from Afghanistan, from all these war-torn countries, even the stories from Canada that immigrated here, or England, and all this process that they have to go through, and the constant, I'm so grateful, I'm so loving, and all this stuff. If you go and listen to that, and you don't walk away from that feeling just a little bit better about this country, and I don't know what we can suggest for you, but if you're really having struggles right now, it's free. You get online, you get on a school bus.
It's so funny.
Everybody's fun. Oh, by the way, there's ice cream floats.
Yeah,
I love ice cream floats.
Ice cream floats, and they're really making this a very,
and they
very
make it great for the kids,
yeah.
And you can get a free tour of Monticello when you're up there. We do it every year, and I think in today's world, I think we could all just in our country just a little shot in the arm of that.
We need. Let me ask you this, because I value your perspective so much, Yonna. How do you characterize for the viewers and listeners, how would you characterize the last, 2 years and change? Because you're a winner, you're a survivor. You make the best out of any situation. You got the positive energy. I mean, it's been a tough time here. It's been some tough sledding lately.
I'm not sure exactly which direction you want me to go with this. I can tell you that I think on an overall spectrum, the polarization is in my mind, absolutely.
Have you ever?
Yeah, it's just I cannot even put it in words. However, I'm still believing in the human spirit. I still believe in the human. I would say kindness, and if there's anything that I can do to go ahead and keep that positive inspiration, motivation out there to reach across the table and say, hey, and how are you doing today? I think if I can do this, then I have
One person at a time.
One person at a time, then I have won a lot. Last 2 years were interesting. I can honestly tell you, a great opportunity. I mean, I'm very grateful for what Keith and I are actually in a position to build on many levels, not just on our business level, but also our family is growing.
G3.
G3.
They're going to be grandma and grandpa, number three.
Number
Three. G3, she goes by Gigi.
Gigi is my name,
Yeah.
my grandma name, yes. And so
That's a great grandma name.
Oh, I love it. Gigi is French, and it's,
Yeah,
it's
cool.
actually, I think, if I remember correctly, Yasmina picked that, or actually little Harry picked it. Either one of the two. But yeah, so we're expecting another grandchild, January 7th.
7th, yeah.
Yeah. So that in itself is amazing. You have this opportunity to be part of this growing family and see new personalities, see new characters, and that really kind of gets me up in the morning. Every morning, I just think about little Harry and the smile that he has, and little V, and you know, with the new one coming, I can just envision, okay, that the three of them are probably going to play together, fight together, whatever they are doing together. But it's a nice. It's
Number
a nice
3 due
The 6th of January.
6th of January.
Somewhere near somebody else's birthday.
Yep.
Oh, stealing some thunder from the distinguished gentleman. Keith
You know
Smith.
what?
Oh, we're gonna rock
we'll
the
take
house.
it. My
We're gonna rock
60th
the house.
birthday celebration instead of the Caribbean will be in Seattle.
Is that what's happening?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, very
Oh
nice.
yeah, sure.
Well, we're going to be in Seattle around.
Super
the
excited.
Here's the interesting thing. Kevin Higgins, we'll get to this comment here in a matter of
by
minutes.
by the way, that's a little heads up. So in
thank
January,
you. I know.
I won't
Yeah.
be here.
We're getting much more used to the
Smith not being here.
Smith travels.
Yeah.
So once you've characterized so many times on the show the dwelling in Seattle, the home of your daughter and your fabulous son-in-law. What's that home? Is the home going to accommodate the third grandchild?
Yeah. Well, first of all,
that's
they're
for
only
them
there
to figure out.
They're only going to be there for 6 months because he's rotating out,
Oh,
right?
okay, very
right.
nice.
So he's in his residency, right? So his residency ends in June. So the baby should be around 6 months old and all that stuff, and then
Man, time flies.
Isn't that something?
I felt like they just. I mean, like, granted, like I spend so much time with you guys. I feel like I'm getting to know like your family.
Thank you.
Um,
Same
well, you're
here.
part family,
You're
brother.
part.
You're part of the family.
But didn't it seem like they just got to Seattle?
It
Yeah.
does. You know, you're right about that.
How long was it?
2019.
Yeah.
They rotated. He rotated.
Jerry, this is show 334.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I remember when they got there,
Yeah.
and you were so pumped.
Yeah, I love it
Yeah.
out there.
I know you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm in the
Yeah.
minority. I'd love to have them stay out there because I like going out there.
You love
and-
Seattle.
and visit. I love that whole Pacific Northwest thing. I just love the country, so I love everything about it. It's only because every time I show up there, the sun's out. So-
Yeah, she's like Yvonne, and actually Yvonne, both of them are
It's
saying,
like,
it's like,
when
oh,
you people come, the
it's
sun
like,
comes out.
please
When you
come out.
leave, the sun goes away. I said, well,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
You bring the sunshine to the viewers and
There you-
listeners.
there you go.
How about this comment? Thank you, Kevin, for saying this. He said, we just nailed it and beat him to it. This July 4th, we should all take 10 seconds to pray for Zelensky. He's fighting for freedom and independence this very second. I bet he moves every 15 minutes. I feel like the world is starting to lose interest in his battle. Civilians are being slaughtered with their hands tied behind their back. I wake up every day looking for a response and see nothing. This reminds me of the Holocaust. This world has no idea how bad it is. One day we will, and we will all be alarmed and ashamed. For me, this July 4th is about Zelensky. Leadership isn't good enough word for him.
So,
Thank you for saying
thank
that.
you for saying that,
Yeah.
Kevin. So, Yonna and I come from a very different, not perspective, but we have a different lens by which we look at this because we've been there, right? I've been in Kiev or Kyiv. We know these people, right? We know the spirit of them. And, you know, even back in the 80s, you know, these Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, all these different countries, they were not huge fans of the Russians or the Soviets at that particular point because they were the stuff that they're doing now, they were just doing it then. You just didn't see it.
It's just on the DL.
You just didn't see it because
Yeah.
one of my jobs was to go out and take pictures of it with the CIA, with the spooks. on that stuff. So it's always been there. Everybody thinks, and we'll just get this out there, everybody thinks this guy's trying to resurrect the Soviet Union. He's not. He's trying to resurrect the Tsarism. He's going a lot further back than that. But yeah, we just got to pray and love on them and do whatever we can, because they are. I don't have a formal education, right? But I traveled the world. I got to see people, and I got to live with people, and talk to them at the way that they live, at the everyday trying to put bread on the table kind of thing. And these are beautiful people, and we just need to support them and do the right thing.
We'll wish a good morning to Nicholas Erpy, who's watching the program. We love you, Nicholas.
Thank you, Nicholas.
Xavier and Alex Erpy. More comments coming in, which we will get to in a matter of moments.
Sure.
In fact, why don't we get to them now? This one from Grayson, who watches the show routinely. He says, do the Smiths have 4th of July traditions they can highlight for us?
Oh. Mm-hmm. Well, the first is we go to the
Monticello.
We do the naturalization ceremony, and I think we go out for breakfast after that typically. But it's a reflection day for us, right? Because particularly when you jump in, Shotzi, if I'm saying something.
No, I would agree with that. I think it is more of a.
We reflect.
We do reflect, but at the same time, we also embrace the family, especially, your mom and dad and everybody. And I know this is a big day for them as well. I can, it's not to jump on thoughts, but I remember the first 4th of July that I celebrated in the United States, and I think I still have it. So mom and dad, at that time we were in Long Island, in Levittown, and the kids made me a flag, an American flag, and hung up that flag for me on my first 4th of July celebration in the United States.
So I still have that. We have to frame this a little bit, right? Yeah. So this is your first visit to the country.
No, this was after we as husband and wife.
Husband and wife. Mm-hmm. This was the first visit.
1986. I still have that flag.
And so my family is huge. We're big, in your face. I'm the oldest. I'm the oldest of 5. When I left to join the Marine Corps, my little brother was only 3 months old, right? So I've got younger brothers and sisters. And Yonna comes from a smaller family.
Yes.
But she
significantly
walked into
smaller.
A block party. My family organized a block party of hundreds of people.
I heard Pop tell this story on the show.
Yeah.
This is a great story.
Yeah. He organized a block party, which we had no idea was happening. So they did a block party. They shut down the street. There was all the neighbors in that thing. There was this big banner across the street, welcome to America, Yonna.
Yeah, I still have it.
And all this stuff. And Yonna just walked right into it. So what was that feeling like, walking into
it was overwhelming.
Yeah, we're overwhelming.
Overwhelming, to be honest with you, it was overwhelming. And at the same time, I was just so flabbergasted and didn't really know what to say about it. But thinking about it now, it was a beautiful moment. And at that time, we also have to admit, Yasmina was still very, very much so in her colic phase. So neither one of us had any sleep. So I probably wasn't really able to absorb it as much as I would absorb it now. But it was a beautiful moment. I'll never forget that.
Cried for 3 months straight.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's behind us.
Did not. She had colic and cried for 3 months.
You've told me that story.
3 months straight.
And you joke. That's why you waited 8 years between your 2 daughters.
That wasn't a joke.
I wouldn't recommend this to anybody to wait.
That was
90 days of no sleep will do that to you.
Shotzi, what was my first thing that came out of my mouth when you told me we were pregnant?
How did this happen?
And how did you respond to that?
I just looked at him. I said, "Are you serious?
You're an idiot, Smith."
How did this happen? Oh, that's so funny.
But right, yeah. So it's this is the. Thank you for the question. It's for us we do this thing, and it's a great experience, but you reflect on it a little bit. And
well, you also embrace not just the family, but also the community that you're in. You're serving the community, and ultimately, I mean, Keith and I used to do this for many, many years. In the neighborhood that we're living in, we used to have at least once a year, we had a block party. It wasn't necessarily, we tried to get it around July 4th, but really in the spirit of celebrating the birth of this country, we were trying to go ahead and kind of keep that community together as much as we possibly can, and still do.
So this is a real estate show, and I was thinking about
Yes.
I was thinking about this. Well, it's a
lot of
have fun
personal
show.
stuff today.
Have a fun show, but I was thinking about this on the bike this morning on my ride.
The interview's resonating with the viewers and listeners. I'm seeing the comments in the viewers.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
they like
you.
you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Finish your thought, though. I apologize for interrupting.
Yes, great. Thanks, Jerry.
On the bike.
Bike.
We were
I was on the bike.
On the
Got
bike.
it. So I was reading just I printed off some trivia things, and the number one food is hot dogs, right? That most folks eat on 4th of July, and so just tying it together to real estate, right? So the subdivision that we live in called the Acres, which we built in 97. In 97, so we were trying to sell lots and houses, lots at $50,000 when you could have bought lots at Lake Monticello for $5,000. So we were like multiple X's more than that. But what we did is, right, we bought a hot dog trailer, and I would park every Sunday. I would park in the cul-de-sac and feed people hot dogs. And do you remember when we stopped? People still came and they go, "Where's my hot dog?" Right? It became a thing. People would come in there. I don't know why I thought about it. I read hot dogs.
That's great.
But the
and
fire-
that's where
Why don't you do that anymore?
Pardon?
Why don't you do that anymore?
Because we don't have subdivision. We got smart. We don't do subdivisions anymore. Hello.
Maybe we can do it again.
meant the
Actually,
hot-
I think this is a good idea.
The
Really
hot
a good
dog.
idea.
That's a
The hot
good
dog.
idea.
The hot dog.
The hot dog.
That's a good idea.
No, actually, the other
Because
thought.
you guys love
I-
the
So we're going to
host.
talk a little business.
in
Hang on a
entertain-
second. So, I was thinking, just hang on a second. I was just.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, no. Ice cream truck. We should buy an ice cream truck.
Yeah,
That'd be fun. Go around.
yeah,
I've
yeah,
always
right.
wanted a food
You
truck.
can get an ice cream truck and you can wrap it Yes Realty Partners. Like you can brand it
Yes.
and
I've-
drive it from neighborhood to neighborhood and open house to open house.
Well, since I just recently got one and got my new bike, thank you, honey, by the way. How about a food truck? I've always wanted a food truck. Let's do a food truck.
Yeah, right.
And we'll put
Okay.
Great idea. Yes, no.
She's just humoring you right now.
I think
Let's
so.
go to Roger Voisinet, who's
Hey,
watching
Roger.
the
Oh, thank
program,
you.
and
Good
Neil
morning.
Williamson.
Roger's a
Sean.
class act.
Neil
Morning,
Williamson
Neil.
shares a Britannica link to Levittown, New York.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Roger Voisinet is a realtor and an all-around A-plus guy.
Colleague
Without a
of
doubt.
ours.
He
yeah.
says, great show and discussion about one of the most valuable opportunities for all civilians to experience, the Monticello naturalization ceremony. I will see Keith and Yonna as I go most every year. Also, having been to Kiev and most of the Western Soviet Union in 1974, I can echo Keith's feelings about how wonderful all those people are.
They are.
So tell us the story about that, and if you got the time to plug it into the feed, what was your travels there for '74? I'd imagine it was on some sort of student exchange program of some sort, but to be in the Soviet Union in '74,
This is that really.
that's a bit of a trick to make that happen.
get-
So why were you there, Roger? Let us know.
Yeah.
We would love to.
Or if you can't tell us, we'll understand.
Or if you're a spy, we understand as well.
Yeah.
Well, just put it in perspective. I mean, when we were in Sofia in Bulgaria, and Bulgaria was at that time still considered one of the, I would say, friendliest,
It was the second most Western.
second most Western, and
What was the number one?
Hungary.
I would
Hungary.
disagree with you. I'd say
Nikki Chambliss is giving Jonas Smith some props right now for doing a great job on air.
Well, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, Nikki.
Yugoslavia, I think, was.
No, not Yugoslavia.
Really?
No,
I disagree
no,
with that.
not after Tito died. Definitely not.
No, so this was prior to Tito was still alive when we were there.
Right.
Because you didn't come with us. We used to go from Sofia, Bulgaria to Sarajevo to buy Oreo cookies because that was the only place in the East Bloc you could
Yeah.
buy Oreo cookies because it was around when the Olympics were coming.
Do you dunk your Oreo?
Of course.
Yeah, me too. Do you dunk your Oreo?
I don't eat Oreos.
You don't like the Oreos?
She's Austrian. She's,
Nope.
God forbid.
What is the
Oh, come
Oreo?
Come on, I just.
It's not a good cookie?
No, it's not.
Come on,
not, it's
Vienna-
not a good
Whoa,
cookie.
time
I
out,
would
time
not.
out.
I would not classify this as not a good cookie. I was just. It's
Good
different.
for you. Good recovery. Good recovery. It could be that she comes from the
Well, she.
No. Wait,
Vienna,
wait a minute,
Vienna
guys.
is like the sweet
Wait,
She's a
capital.
classy lady.
Well, Vienna is the
wait a
sweet
minute,
capital
guys.
of the world,
I love
right?
cookies.
Coffee and sweet.
I
and
love
sweet.
cookies. I love cookies. Don't please let's not start
So what's
this
your
rumor.
favorite cookie?
Let's not start the rumor that I don't like cookies.
Yeah.
please.
You Oreo hater, you.
Yeah.
Someone get Yonna some cookies.
So what's your favorite cookie?
Actually, the ones that Ivani makes are the best cookies. Ivani
You would
makes
say that.
some really, really good.
Well, the lemon something.
Oh my
what
lord,
are they
yeah. I mean,
called?
I have no idea what they're
Yeah.
called, but she really makes good cookies.
So how do you eat your Oreo cookies?
I dunk them.
Do you
I like
whole
together or
thing?
do
Oh
you
yeah,
take
I
them
like to
apart?
soak them. Oh no, I don't even take them apart. I soak them and then.
You don't
full
take them
bite.
apart. Do the.
No.
It
My
is-
son does.
It is so
It's
funny.
funny.
Our son.
The two
Right?
kids, the two
Yeah.
grandkids, they eat the Oreo
Nobody
cookies
taught 'em.
differently.
Yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
differently. So Harry takes it apart, licks the middle, and leaves the rest. V
The
just bites right in it
The
and
bull.
just this whole thing just explodes, literally explodes.
Well, you'll soon find this out. It's amazing how you can have two children from the same set of parents
Totally
and
different.
be totally different.
Yeah.
Totally
I mean,
different.
totally
Right.
different. And
I mean, Harry has a little napkin right next
Harry's
to it,
our
takes it
grandson.
apart. It's just amazing to watch. I mean, I have to laugh.
yeah, you should.
I have
If
to
you,
laugh.
if you can tag anybody, tag Harry Tyson.
I will tag Harry Tyson. This is from Mr. Yancey in Waynesboro.
Yes.
You have people willing to die just to get over here.
Yeah.
Not for free,
Yeah.
but to do it to better their lives and their families. We have
Absolutely.
citizens who think everyone is here to take something from them, and then we have folks that are literally willing to die to get here.
It's
So-
not what you can.
We're having fun today. We don't want to go too down on the thing.
Roger has an answer for you.
Please.
Roger Voisinay was in the Soviet Union in 1974. He said he was a part of the Citizens Exchange Corporation from New York.
Cool.
13 of us from the U.S. for 3 weeks to St. Petersburg, Lithuania,
That would be Leningrad
Kiev,
at that point.
Moscow, and a couple of other places. Our goal was to prevent nuclear war via citizen-to-citizen discussions and friendships. And he said the girls were fabulous.
I'm sure.
No, I'm sure.
So
I love you, Roger.
so
Roger's a
A very
good-looking
pretty.
guy.
I have to
Yeah,
tell you
yeah,
that
yeah.
there's something to
has
say.
a sense of humor apparently.
He's a very smooth dude, Roger Voisinay.
I am confident that he.
The girls were fabulous. He put that in a separate comment. On top of the answer to Keith, he then added an additional comment for that line right there.
So since my wife's sitting to my right, we'll just leave the whole girl
No,
comment alone.
I want to tell him that I agree with that because some of these Russian ladies are absolutely gorgeous.
Oh,
Gorgeous.
knockouts, models.
So we're going to move on because I'm going to get in trouble if we keep on talking about this. But I'm curious how many minders he had with
Neil
him.
Williamson loved Roger's comment on that right there.
Oh, how can you not?
So a follow-up question: how many minders did he have with him, and were they with him 24 hours a day? Because I suspect he had people with him.
Well, that was one
all
of the
time.
things you had to be really able to kind of
Everybody-
internalize is that you were constantly under surveillance. You were
Somebody
constantly
was always
watched.
watching
Somebody
you.
was always watching
Somebody
you.
was always listening to you. We joke around with the
Yeah.
story of when
Yeah.
I asked you to marry you. You can hear I did it over
Yeah,
the
but-
phone.
yeah.
You can hear the guy smoking a cigarette. who
Well,
was
you
listening
felt
to it.
that. You felt that. I mean, in a sense that I can honestly tell you, we were somewhat shielded by the fact that we were a part of the
We had
diplomatic
diplomatic
community. However, like he said before, I mean, Bulgarians were as embracing and as hospitable as you can only imagine. They absolutely loved having you. I mean, I remember going to some of their luncheons, and this was a luncheon that lasted for hours. This is not something you just showed up, had a sandwich and a drink and left. No, they really took the time, prepared the food, the little food that they had, made it last for hours, and you came away with so much appreciation. I still have a very good friend living in Sofia, as a matter of fact, and
She was an artist, right?
she was an artist, married
was a Beth
married to the first Bulgarian who climbed Mount Everest. So it's
So
just
they were very the way that world worked was very class separated.
Yeah,
So
very
it
much
wasn't
so.
class by money. It was class by if you were part of the political elite. You had certain things. You had a car. You had a second home. You could travel. You could do certain things. If you didn't have that, you didn't. right? And
It's a big.
the comment was made earlier about the lengths of stuff, and I just don't want to bring people down today, but unless you actually witness somebody unsuccessfully trying to escape there and what the lengths that they have to go through, it's life-changing just to see that, and at least after the fact, what it takes to do that. So that kind of speaks volumes that they're trying to get out and come to this country. It's awe-inspiring.
How's the family, the extended family? Do you still have extended family overseas?
I have two of my sisters are left, a very extended aunt left, and mostly, believe it or not, oh my God, obviously, yes, my nephew.
You had an interesting conversation with him that he wants to come over.
Yeah,
over
so
here, which
here
is
again,
a change.
so this is sort of the instilling of the American, let's call it the American journey.
Manifest destiny.
There you go.
The opportunity.
So my nephew, the opportunity, right. So my nephew, who is now 20, will be 24, was here first in 2009 for the first time. And, kind of through growing up and stuff like that, took him a little while to figure out which path he wants to go on. But the last time I spoke to him, he said, I really would like to see you guys again. I'd like to come and kind of nurture, see this vastness of this country, which is also something you don't really realize how vast this country is. I mean, the size of Austria is half the size of Virginia, right?
No.
Is it the size of Virginia?
Austria and Virginia are almost the same size in acreage and
but
people.
Not in population.
No. In population is right. Austria is about 7 million.
7, yeah.
Virginia's about
right.
7.
But anyhow, so the vastness of it. So he said he wants to come back. He wants to come back. He wants to visit. He misses his family, his extended family, and he wants to.
A few years ago, that wasn't the case.
He wants to really explore some opportunities.
That's great.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. How old is he?
24.
Okay.
And
some similarities. You were 23 when you met Keith.
This is interesting that you say that. Yeah. See.
Do you want to? I mean, I know the answer to this because I know you well. You want to foster that, like if he
very
asks,
very much so, and I would encourage anybody who is thinking about that.
The unemployment rate in Austria is pretty high, right?
I
Particularly
haven't seen the latest stats, but it's a lot better than what it used to be, especially amongst teenagers and early 20s. Millennials is very, very high. So you see sort of that trend going away from going to college and really kind of expanding into the trades. Which I think is a
really
good thing.
well there,
and
which
they do.
we need
They
help here.
So
Rich Schuyler's, I think, is speaking tomorrow on the 4th.
On the 4th, yes.
Which is with the Piedmont community. Somebody will correct me, but the workforce he focuses on trades and all that stuff. So it's going to be an interesting speech. And Rich Schuyler's an interesting gentleman.
Oh yeah,
and he can talk.
Well, coming back to your question, Jerry. I really have still very good and very strong relationships, obviously, to my friends in Europe, to my family, whatever I have left as far as family is concerned. And interestingly enough, Yvonne at this particular moment is trying to establish the genealogy of our family.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Which is going to be interesting because I do know my father. Before he passed away, he was trying to go ahead and start on this journey.
That's an interesting story, though.
And started out on. So it's going to be interesting to see how far we can go and how much we can actually find out where the roots are really from.
You got a lot of comments coming in. Goodness gracious. All right, let's get to some comments here. Bob Slentz is giving you guys some props.
I know Bob.
Bob's a good man.
Very much
Bob
so.
is loving the show right now. Let's say hi to charter member Christopher Eagle.
Thank you, Mr. Christopher.
We love you, Christopher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Happy 4th of July to your family. Oh, and Christopher, I haven't had a chance to mention this, but I ran into your beautiful wife at Chick-fil-A on Pantops.
Oh,
she is
isn't she amazing,
dynamic and
Ashley?
full of energy. That's quite a catch you got right there, Christopher Eagle.
There was a whole story in the office yesterday about him and her playing golf, and my comment was, so are you guys competitive? And I got a look. And I went, got it.
Very competitive, I would imagine.
Didn't you have to say anything, just looked.
When you guys get together, connection is obvious. You guys work together, obviously you live together, you're married, and you pull it off, and you pull it off well. And multiple people are asking this question on the feed. Multiple people. Kevin's asking this, Stacy's asking this, all in some kind of variation. Would love to hear the secrets to this successful marriage.
Oh,
It's so great to see a partnership like the two you have.
I'll let you go first. Please.
That's literally on 3 Facebook pages, a variation of this question.
Please send him on a bike at 6:30 in the morning for an hour.
Is that why you let him buy the bike?
I didn't
Harmony?
no, wait a minute, guys. I didn't let him buy the bike. That has nothing to do with me. That was Keith's decision. The reason why
the man for, I'd say, about
The
18
tra-
months has been,
The
Plugging
tra-
hard.
yeah, very hard.
he has been working
Very
hard, and the thing is, the only trepidation I have about this
Yeah,
whole experience
I
is
know
the
what
fact I don't want him to get hurt.
Right. I
So
know.
that's really all there is to it. I mean,
So to put it in perspective for the viewers and the
He's
listeners.
broken his back twice.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
where they're
So
gonna-
that's sort of where a little bit my trepidation
And
comes
let's
into.
cut to the chase. He does everything to the extreme.
Oh, he's
Keith
extremely
Smith.
competitive.
So do you know why I picked?
He ran the 10K with very little training and hurt his body.
10 miler.
10 miler, excuse me.
Yeah.
When didn't we all say don't run the 10 miler? I said that to you. Did you say that to him?
I didn't know anything about it. I had sort of a little bit of an
Oh, he
inkling.
surprised you?
Totally.
Race day?
Yes.
You surprised them race day?
I may not have.
I did not know you surprised them
I
race day.
may or may not have done that.
Wow.
So, well, who knew about it? Yvonne knew about it.
Nobody knew about it.
Yeah.
I
He just showed up.
literally-
So did
Sure.
you train at all?
Yeah, he trained with me when we were down in the Caribbean for 2 weeks.
Okay. So that's where you're like, why is my husband running with me?
Well, he kind of packaged this in a very nice way to say that
So
it's
everybody's
always good.
learning the
It's always
secret of their
it's always
safe
good.
marriage.
It's always good to have a mentor and somebody who knows how to run. And I totally bought into that because there's some
Wait.
truth to that.
The way you positioned this with Yonna for training was, I need a mentor, someone to show me, be my North Star and to guide me in my training of running,
That-
and did not say I'm running the 10 miler?
So there was nothing but truth in what you just said on both sides of that. Nothing but it was truthful, very truthful. I used to train up before I can't do it any longer. I used to train up people to run long distances.
You
I did it for decades, and so it was great. We were running together. I may or may not have signed up to it on it, and if I felt like I could handle it, I can handle it. But
And you finished it, and
Well,
you ran with your girls.
I ran it. I finished, ran it with my ladies, had a great time. Just happened to have 3 compression fractures
Right.
in my back.
Right.
Well,
but you've recovered nicely.
Recovered nicely, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyhow, so the transition then goes from running into biking, but you're 100% right.
So you know what the name of the bike is
so
that
the
I bought?
Oh God, I
Is
have
it
no
a Trek?
idea.
What'd you buy?
Spirit choker. I don't know.
What kind of bike did you buy?
Did you just call me a joker?
No, I said a
So
joker.
the name it's actually a Swiss bike. It's Scott. So
Okay.
if you know
Oh,
anything,
Scott's a good bike. I know
if
Scott.
you know anything about skiing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
They started with
absolutely.
poles, but the name of that bike is Addict.
Oh, really? The model of that bike is that it? That's you.
I bought it.
That's you.
I said I got to buy it.
So
I bought
how do we go to the secret of a good marriage
Yeah,
to
we're-
bicycling?
it. Because we're really
Oh, Yonna
good.
said get him out of the house at 6 in the morning.
So we're really good at this. So we were just kind of working our way around it.
No, I
Go
think-
ahead. What's the secret to you?
Well, I think the secret is to balance, to find the balance, and to navigate the balances. And I can honestly tell you, there's truth to the fact that every decade that we've been together, and we've been together now for 20, 30, 40,
36
50,
years,
60,
I'd say.
60 for 4
Three-
decades almost.
That's awesome.
4 decades.
36 years, I'd say.
Every decade has a
Challenges.
different challenge, has a different balance. And for instance, just the fact that we have grandchildren now
Different world.
is a different
Absolutely.
balance that we have to find. The fact that we own our own business has
We've
a
always-
different
we've
balance.
always
Well,
done
it's yeah, but we haven't owned a business since 2008, right?
We've always been working together.
So,
I'd say.
but what I'm saying is it's a balancing act, and sometimes it's about listening, truthfully.
Keith.
I'm working on it.
Keith.
I'm working on it. This is part of the
Just
show.
saying.
The show is my therapy.
This is your therapy.
I'm working. I'm going to therapy.
Doing your
times a
therapy in
week.
front of
I
a lot
guess
of
it goes
people.
In front of a lot of people.
But I guess it goes on both ends,
But
on both
we've
sides.
been working together for 36 years. We've had
Right.
businesses together. We've always worked together and been married. How does that
Comes
work
down
for
to
you, Mrs.
listening.
Smith?
Comes down to listening.
Okay. All
Never
right.
easy.
Let me write this down.
I have to tell you,
Listen more.
No, also on my end, not just on your end. I think it's both of us. Because there's so many different things you're trying to navigate and trying to kind of pay attention to that sometimes you don't really hear what this particular person is telling
Well,
you.
having my hearing aids helped our relationship.
Oh, yeah, very much
that,
so.
that was light years different
Yeah.
because we really, I couldn't hear what you were saying, or I would misinterpret what you were
Yeah.
saying. So
When'd you get those?
So these are my second set. So this is a total of 4 years. So 3 years on the first one, and we're in the fourth year on the new one.
So what was it like before?
Excuse me, what'd you say?
I have to tell you, before it was really...
That was good, huh?
That was
I
good.
thought that was good, yeah.
That was great timing on that one.
Yeah.
That was great timing.
Yeah, right.
Guessing
You know
game.
the old joke. So you ask me what's the secret to a good joke?
Yeah.
Timing.
Oh, never a dull moment.
Never
like
a
this
dull
one.
moment.
Oh,
So-
absolutely. But...
So
yeah.
what is it like for you? Let's do a little therapy. How
No, I'm good. I'm good, thank you.
Got it. So
Nicholas has got a good comment for you.
Please.
I've heard from family in Italy too that people want to come to the United States and live here as well. And once in Italy, we were talking with some people on the train. Is it Toluca?
Yes.
Toluca, and they were telling us how beautiful Virginia is and how they would love to see it. And meanwhile, here we are always talking about the beauty of Italy. Grass is always greener, but there is
On the other
opportunity
side.
here that there isn't in the old world, sadly. Well said, Nicholas.
yeah.
I agree to a certain extent on that, absolutely.
Well, you know what was the old phrase?
Chad Wood is causing some trouble.
Please,
really?
go ahead.
Do you know Chad Wood?
The name is familiar.
He watches and listens to a lot of the
Got it.
shows. He goes,
Got
the selling of the house. Let's get to that
Oh
topic.
yeah.
I'm on Yonna's side,
Yeah.
Chad says. It's so funny. The viewers and listeners know the topics that come up in the Smith house because someone likes to talk about him on the talk show.
I can tell you...
Hello,
I
it's a
can-
talk show.
No, wait a minute, we're making progress.
We are.
Oh, you're making progress on the selling of your house?
So I don't.
So for those that don't know,
So whoa, time out. Judah, I don't know if you got that, but I got the little finger. Did you notice the pointing of the finger?
what was the point?
She was.
She said, mind your britches.
Nope, I
No,
got.
actually, no. This is just to go ahead and kind of confirm the thought process.
So
that
before
have.
we get into trouble with the house,
Yeah, okay.
I
Just-
didn't answer my secret to marriage and working together.
Okay,
Okay.
get your secret to the
Okay.
marriage. Please, go ahead. I'm sorry. You're right.
It's being with somebody who makes you a better person every day.
There you go.
That's
And
actually
you
very
make
nicely
me,
put.
and you make me a better person every day. God knows I need a lot of it. But you make me a better person every day because all the other stuff goes away pretty quickly, and it's just about that. And we just okay. Sometimes we don't enjoy being with each other because sometimes we need our little space, right? But 90% of the time, I just enjoy being around you. And so that's it. You make me a better person every day.
There you go.
Thank you. I think that's a very nice
feel the same
compliment.
way
Thank you
about,
much. Thank you so much.
About my wife.
And it's
You
always
couldn't do what you do without her.
No, I mean, she's,
it's
my...
it's a good compliment, right?
And you know when you realize
Partnership.
that, you should obviously realize this all the time. My wife and our son are visiting my in-laws in New York on Long Island right now. So I have
you're a
about
bachelor.
a week and change of a bachelor. And first day you're like, oh, this is great.
Yep.
This is awesome.
How long
And
did
then-
that last?
And then day two, you're like, this house is too quiet.
Yeah.
Too
Miss
empty,
the
right?
chaos and the
Miss the
craziness.
chaos. Yeah.
Yeah, and like our little boy like running around and like throwing things everywhere, and then you come home and it's so quiet. I mean, you miss it.
I have to tell you, just because you said that about, chaos, Yvonne came home 3 weeks ago.
Oh, good Lord.
It's so funny, and this is something you will experience yourself too. Swear to God, door opened, shoes flew, dress flew. I mean, I knew she was home.
So our nickname...
I knew she was home, and I said, this is the first thing I said. I mean, there was chaos in the laundry room, chaos. Not in the kitchen for whatever reason. Both girls are very, very tidy in the kitchen.
are,
They must
very
have
much
learned this from you.
Well, you're nighty in the kitchen.
But you knew she was home.
I'm just anal about it.
And
What's her nickname?
Tornado.
Yeah.
Tornado.
So I knew that.
Literally a tornado.
We call our son's nickname is Traynado.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Just because, like, everything.
Oh, yeah.
It gets into everything.
So she has-
but it's endearing.
She's, except when it's not.
Well, I mean,
Well-
I've been doing it for 4 years. You've been doing it for...
Yeah.
And then you're
3
doing
decades.
it, and then you're
But
doing
we're
it
in
with
a-
the grandchildren.
Yeah.
So that's the fun part. So I mean, this is literally managed chaos. Walking through the front door, the moment they open their eyes in the morning, it's like constant. But you miss that.
You missed that. Yeah, I miss it.
You miss
So,
that.
so much so, they were supposed to come down this weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately,
And-
not.
From Connecticut?
Yeah.
And she's got a double shoot today, which is not ending until like midnight or 2 o'clock.
Do
in the
they
morning.
train it or drive it?
They're driving.
They drive it? Yeah.
They
try to
drive
drive
it,
with
and
a-
then she's
With the kids? So what do they leave at, like 3 in the morning?
Well, they used to, yeah.
That's
yeah.
how we do it. We
Yeah.
leave at 4
Yeah.
in the morning, and then you hope for half the trip your kid is sleeping.
So they
and
actually
what-
live like midnight or something. So they just
Yeah.
because for them, if they do that, it takes about 6 hours if you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
And the kids wake up, we take care of the kids, they go take a nap, right, and then move on. But they're not coming because she's doing a double shoot today, right, and then she's got a early call on Tuesday, like a 5 o'clock in the morning call, first call on Tuesday. She's a makeup artist, and she's doing
Manifest.
Manifest. Yeah, she's head makeup artist on Manifest or whatever she's doing there on that end of it. So she just said, look, it's just too much driving, and that's cool. And what did we say on our walk this morning? Right? We're not doing a show on Monday because the 4th of July. So let's hop in the car and go see them.
Yeah.
So you're going up?
We
Haven't. We're negotiating. So that's the
so
other.
that's the other
so,
part.
so, so that's
So that's the
So are
other.
you going to be here Tuesday? Oh, no, Wednesday. Are you going to be here Wednesday?
Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be here
You are.
Wednesday.
You'll be here Wednesday. Okay.
Don't get nervous. It's
I was
okay.
getting a little nervous.
It's okay.
Chad says, this is a great comment.
Please.
Sometimes you want peace until you get it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking about the quiet. Sometimes you actually want a little peace until you get it. And that's, I mean, it's so quiet. It's,
Well, the other thing, though, is because you talked about, what really makes a marriage work, or you're trying to make it work, has also to do with you're trying to find a balance between being a good partner and at the same time without losing your own personality.
Right.
Right? So that's the biggest, so that's sort of this biggest tug of war. And truthfully, like Keith said, we are very intertwined with each other on many different levels. However, I think what we also had to figure out is okay, so there's me time also, and that's okay. And there's me time for him, and that's also okay, because it kind of gives you a little bit of that energy refill that you need to kind of continue on. Because honest with you, relationship is also work. Right? It's not just like everything is honey and roses every day. I mean, you're going to have to work at this. And I always consider myself as being work in progress. So I learn every day.
That's actually
That's well said.
That's
Yeah.
what she says all the time.
Yeah, I'm work in progress. If anybody comes up to me and says, "Oh, you're great," I said, "No, I'm work in progress because there's more to learn." So
very well
the
said.
first 7 years, right?
Were
I don't know,
tumultuous.
how many years have you married?
Let's see. I should know this. 5 years.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
5 years.
So
5
the-
years and change.
So the first 7 years, right? We were kind of figuring out.
Yeah, you
roles,
figure out where you position yourself.
roles, and then oops, we had another kid, but then we played roles again, all that kind of great stuff. But
Mr. Yancey says you learn to coexist with each other.
Oh, that's a good way of putting
the point I
it.
was literally going to get
Yeah.
to. And the more time you spend together, it becomes a little bit more. But there's seasons, right? There's
Very much
seasons
so.
in the life, and
Very much
that
so.
was very well. That was very well.
Mr.
put.
Wood says, good show, great people, enjoy the holiday weekend, and I like messing with Keith about the house.
I will
Yeah.
keep you posted. This is work in progress.
Yeah, we're getting closer.
We're getting closer.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer. Look, I do want to move. I'm saying that in front of you.
You have said this many
I've said this
times.
all the time.
Yeah.
But to me, it's a math problem.
Well, I mean, we know this. The
Right.
inventory is...
Yeah, it's a math problem for me. It's not a math problem. You're emotionally moved on. I haven't emotionally moved on yet. I
That's
still
okay. You have
look
the
at
right
the
to do
home
that.
as a home. I don't look at it as a house, but it's also a math problem, right? On what we owe, what we can get, and all different stuff. There you go. That was our extent
Timing.
of real estate. Timing.
Yeah.
That was our extent of real estate. I do want to ask Judah a question. Can I
Please,
do
Judah,
that?
do you got the 4-shot ready to roll?
I do.
Okay, 4-shot. Do it, Keith.
So, Judah, I don't think I've ever asked you this question. What part of the world you ever been to? Where did you travel?
Let's see.
You look like somebody that did a lot of traveling at one point.
I don't know if I've personally done a lot of traveling, but my family, when I was young, and we lived in Southern California, we drove down to drove down to Mexico. Had a lot of fun. We had an old, I think it was a Toyota van.
You did the European trip while you were working here.
Yeah.
You guys went to Europe,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
you and the family. His family's very close, like your family, too.
Yeah.
Father, and I don't want to speak for you, but his sisters lived on the West Coast, and they vacation every year. Father, mom, dad, and 3 kids.
Wow.
Super close.
Cool.
And that's
So- Yeah, so we went to Mexico, had a good time, slept on the beach,
cool.
and
Way cool.
then let's see, I've been to Prince Edward Island with my high school. We went up. It was not a very fun trip.
what time of the year did you go there? There was only like one time. It's called August. So anything other than August, it's cold.
Yeah, it wasn't hot. I think I brought one pair of socks, and I ran the pool at the inn that we were staying in didn't have a whole lot of water, so I tried to like run around the outside part of the water and slipped in. So then I had wet socks for the rest of the trip.
Yikes.
And there was really nothing there. It was just like all flat, and we went and saw the Anne of Green Gables house. Not all that exciting for a high school boy. And
Pray tell, why did we choose? Was that your high school trip, right?
yeah, that was like a high school trip. I mean, we lived in Maine, so this was.
Oh, you were in Maine at the time.
Yeah,
Got it.
It wasn't
okay,
like
that
we were,
makes sense.
It wasn't like we were driving thousands of miles or anything.
Well, you could have went to like Martha's Vineyard or
Florida.
something. Florida. You could have.
Yeah.
That would have been nice.
Nag's Head, the Outer
and-
Banks.
What
See,
countries have you been to?
My
Jerry?
sister was doing a work study in England. So I think it was '99. We went to visit her.
Cool.
Had a lot
In
of
England?
Fun. Yeah.
Cool.
Had a lot of fun running.
How'd you
around.
like the food?
I don't remember anything about the food. I remember taking the tube. I was the only one in my family besides my sister who was living there who could figure it out. So I would just go and like hit different stops. Stop at Charing Cross and Queen, whatever, I don't remember all the names. And I just wandered the city and had a great time.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah, and then when I was working here, my family went to Spain. And
Way
saw
cool.
a
So
bunch-
with
bunch
all
of
those
different cities.
trips, did you take away any different impression of our country?
I've lived in different parts of this country that are also, different from each other. That I just kind of view every place that I go as a different. Stop, Liza.
Liza the dog.
Liza has a comment.
Yeah.
So where have you been?
Ask me where I live.
I think you can actually see Liza's tail behind you in the shot. Yeah, I see Liza's head walking back there.
I think I view every place differently. I also went in '99. I went on a mission trip to Haiti, and I think that was
To Haiti.
I think that was the most affecting for me. 'Cause
Oh,
it
I
was
can
just-
only imagine.
I mean, you see people sitting on the side of the road trying to sell, burned wood, charcoal, to make enough money to eat.
Different
And,
appreciation, yeah.
yeah, very, very different.
I like that. That's the first time that's ever been done in show history right there.
Right there,
Yeah. You did that very smoothly.
I did, but I think the camera caught me.
It caught your, just briefly. Just briefly.
Had to give Liza the dog a bone. She was just. Doing it. But talk us about the Haiti trip, right? So, kind of third world, right?
Oh, it was very much a third
Very
world.
much so.
Third world. Did you walk out of that mission trip with a greater impression? And tell me about the people, and with the people that you met there saying, look, I want to come to the United States, or did you have any conversations with the people there in Haiti when they would ask you, tell me about the United States? Did anything like that happen in that conversation?
Not really. Most of the people in Haiti speak
French.
kind of, it's a pidgin French.
Pidgin
It's a
French.
Creole French.
Yeah,
No,
Creole.
yeah, Creole French, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not the same Creole as they speak down south. But yeah, so we had a few people that spoke French. I did not. I learned, I learned some words in French. Cabrit is goat, and
Merde.
You're speaking to
Merde.
6 languages you speak?
No.
How
I
many?
speak 3.
She speaks 3
Three.
languages.
It's more than 3.
No, I
She
speak
translates simultaneously around 3,
No,
but she
no, no,
speaks
no.
other languages. She's being kind.
but it was very affecting. I for a while I didn't want to come back here. I just felt like, I would come back here and I would go back to the life that I'd been living, and I would forget everything that I wasn't going to forget it, but I would lose that kind of sense of there's something here that I can do to help.
Isn't that a
And
great feeling to help people like that?
It really is. We were building a bridge. There was a church that had bought some property across a stream. It was about 13 feet across, and it was completely dry when we were there. But when it starts raining, it's also about 13 feet deep, and it just completely fills with water. So they needed a bridge to get across to the land where they were building a church. And we brought a structural engineer with us who basically designed a bridge, and we started putting it together with rebar and concrete.
Good for
Wow.
you, man.
Good
That's
for
great.
you.
Is it still standing?
I don't know.
He hopes.
Well, after how many hurricanes later?
Oh, yeah.
1999,
Earthquakes,
earthquakes
yeah,
and
sure.
hurricanes. I mean, this
Yeah.
country is about as bad as
more
anything.
coming in for them. You ready for this?
Sure.
So this is an interesting comment from Stacy, who's watching the program. So Keith and Yonna, what would you like to see for the rest of your life as a couple, professionally, and with your family?
Mrs. Smith, you want to tackle that first?
I think really, truly, we have more work to do in order to go ahead and deepen the relationships that we have right now, serving our community. Ultimately, I would love the opportunity to pass on to my grandchildren what I have had the privilege to find out, which is really bridging two traditions, two cultures. So if there's anything that I can do on the family side of it, is really nurture that relationship between Europe and the United States, so they have the opportunity to see and experience the cultures, the human beings, the food, the music. So there's a lot of different things that I have envisioned, hopefully, that I can be part of my grandchildren's journey, and as much as my children's journey too. I mean,
But they talk about they want
they
to do that.
actually both of them do want to take advantage of the fact that they are
Multicultural?
multicultural. Yes, and on the business side, to be honest with you, as long as I can possibly provide a professional service and build a relationship at the same time, I would like to do it as long as I possibly can. I may not do it at a pace as I'm doing it right now, so that's probably going to shift within the next 5 to 7 years, hopefully.
Shift. Sorry.
But
I'll shut up and listen.
you have to. I try to live by the principle. There's a reason why I wake up every morning, and I have the privilege of being on this earth. So let's make it the best day ever and the best journey ever. So
I love it.
I don't know about you.
Great
Keith.
answer.
So, on our personal
Yes.
relationship, I can't wait for the next 36 years.
Yes.
But after that, we're going to have to start talking. There may be some
Yes,
changes
maybe
after
a little.
30.
We have to slow down
We have to
after
slow down a little bit after 36 years. I can't wait, because it was interesting. I didn't really, until you said it, I didn't really think through like so it seems like every decade
There's a change. In
there's
the
a
relationship.
change, right? So knowing that there's going to be some changes come, I can't wait to tackle them together. I really can't.
It's fun.
On that stuff. Yeah, and
It's fun and challenges.
believe it or not, Jerry, we think and do things very differently. Go figure.
I do believe that.
But it's interesting you said about the grandkids. So it was important to Yonna and I with our children.
Yes.
Right. We did whatever we could do financially. Right. We did without, so we could send our children back overseas. Right, and spend time with their family in Austria and in Paris. Right, and in south of France and different parts of the country. We had the ability to do that, just to learn what other cultures were like, so you can have a little bit of a lens of what's good about what we're about here. But it's funny, we have a conversation. This is what we want to do. We want to take our grandchildren and say, let's go and visit your Austria. Right, this is your part of your heritage. Let's go visit that. And they may or may not like it at the age of 6 or 7 or whatever they are. But when we have conversations with our children, right, this is what they remember the most. Right, this was the most impactful in their lives. And as far as the business goes, I don't know, Yonna. I literally don't think I work. I really don't. I just love what I do. I love helping people. Our world is not about transaction. Our world is about building relationships and getting to know people. And if we end up helping them buy and sell, great. If not, we build a relationship and keep on moving. And I think that mentality and that way of looking at things got us from losing everything we had to where we are today. We just want to help people. And it comes back in that not spade. What is it? What's the
droves?
Droves. What's the if you give out slices, it comes back in loaves.
Loaves, yeah.
Yeah. So we give it out in slices. It comes
You're doing
back.
good.
Thank you.
You got your Bible straight.
Thank you.
They love the thing.
Look, and I got kudos from Mrs.
You
Smith.
did. You did.
Got a bike. Kudos. I'm doing great.
You're doing good job,
I'm doing
Keith.
good job.
And now you're driving to Connecticut.
No, I'm driving to Connecticut. Yay!
We know Keith does not like the drive so much. He loves his family, but that drive to Connecticut is a little.
You know who really loves the ride? Is our dog.
The dog.
Forrest, does he just
Forrest,
sleep the whole way?
sleep
That's
the whole
exactly
way.
In the back seat?
That's exactly what he does.
Do you guys give him the nice little bed? Dog? Is the dog bed in the back seat? Yeah.
Of course.
That dog is spoiled, isn't he?
You think?
Yeah.
He's a love.
Forrest has got it
You
good.
think?
He's a love.
Yeah.
He's a love.
Yonna loves Forrest.
What did we say when we walked out of the parking garage here? I actually
You
said
said
it.
that,
I
not
said,
me.
so we left the dog home
I
today.
know. She said that because it was hot.
Yeah, it's too hot. It's
Yeah.
too
But I
hot for
actually
him.
said, I miss the dog.
Does he get out of the back fence still? Did you
No.
fix that?
No.
You fixed it?
No. Well, there's a positive to all of this. There's a positive because
yeah,
we built the
totally.
fence. We built the
A
fence.
5-foot tall fence.
Yeah,
5 foot
in
tall
the
fence.
backyard.
Reinforced it, so he's okay with it. He hasn't found another hole
No,
where
he's
he can
good.
get out, and neither did the deer come back in. So this is the first
So
time.
you
First
You
time
have
in
a garden.
First time in many years that I have a beautiful rose garden, and my COVID project finally bloomed.
Ooh.
Yes.
Which is your
You have a
col-
green thumb as well?
That's by accident, really by accident.
be honest.
It's not intentional. So I will
Wait,
not.
is it
I
a
will
brown
not claim.
thumb? Is it a brown thumb?
You built it. You built it, and it actually. Keith built the boxes.
Oh, you built was it a raised bed?
Raised bed. He built
That's
the
great.
boxes,
Those are awesome.
And I just put the bulbs in
And
it.
it's a pollinator.
It's a pollinator.
And you may or may not have put too many bulbs in.
Oh yeah, it just looks
A bit crowded.
a little crowded.
It needs to be thinned out a wee bit.
Our friends at Pearl Certification are watching the show.
Thank you.
Close with a 4th of July message. How about some final 4th of July words for the viewers and listeners for this weekend, the holiday?
Happy 4th to everybody. Enjoy the celebration. Remember that this is 246 years, right? Celebration, right? Remember how much it took us to get to the point that we are today, and really think about what freedom means to you.
Well said. I'm going to give you a round of applause on that.
Thank you.
That was excellent. Keith Smith.
So if you're struggling with where we at in this world, in our country at this point in time, do yourself a favor. If you can't physically make it to the naturalization thing, it's thanks to COVID, it's now live streamed.
Is it live streamed?
It is
I did
live
not know
streamed,
that.
yeah. You can Google nationalization of Monticello and go ahead. It starts, I think, 9 o'clock in the morning on the...
The court is in session as of 9
o'clock.
9 o'clock.
Do yourself a favor. Show up, watch it, and even if you don't have the opportunity to watch it live, watch it, on YouTube afterwards. We'll make an attempt to post it on all our social media channels that we're on at this point. But if you watch that, you'll have to walk away from it feeling just a little bit better about this country and where we're going. If you're doubting that, do yourself a favor, watch it, and let me know how it came out. Let me know how you feel about it afterwards.
I love it. We'll keep an eye out for it.
There you go.
We will
And
see
be
you
safe.
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Right?
Don't get nervous.
He's
I'll be
getting
here
all
Wednesday.
nervous.
Yeah, Scott.
You'll be here Wednesday.
Yeah. So Wednesday's going to be a lot of fun. Scott's going to come back and visit.
Scott's in the mix?
Scott's in the mix.
All right.
Going to come back and visit us
Okay.
again, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with interest rates, and But today I just wanted to have fun with my lovely.
You're excellent.
7.
Once again, excellent.
I do enjoy the show.
I love when you come
I
on the
really,
show.
really enjoy this
Tell
show.
us
I love when she comes on the
she
show.
should come
I
on more
enjoy
You're
often.
absolutely dynamite.
Viewers, please, listeners, please have Mrs. Smith come on.
Well, she'll see. She'll see. I mean,
Thank you.
you're dynamite.
Thank you. I enjoy talking about American dream and what it really means.
And
So I really, really
grandkids.
enjoy it. And the grandkids.
And
Yes.
G3.
And you think about it.
G3.
This show was so great. We didn't even. Did we talk real estate? We talked briefly. We talked real
Did
estate.
we use the word inventory?
We didn't. You just
You
did.
guys are so
I wasn't
good.
gonna bring it up.
I told
you were
Keith
baiting me.
the other
You were
day. I
baiting me.
said,
I was. baiting you.
No, we're not talking inventory
Nope.
today. We're just talking about just being good humans, man.
Fabulous people, Keith and Yonna Smith. You guys watch the show and you can see what they're all about. I love when Yonna is here on
Thank you.
the show.
Thank you.
Yes Realty Partners. Here's the backbone and the foundation. Just a fabulous, well-rounded team at Yes Realty Partners. Happy 4th of July, my
Happy
friends.
4th of July to you. And safe one. To safe to you also, Judah.
You're going to come
Thank
up
you.
there on Judah on the 4th?
What's that?
Are you
Come
kind of...
visit us? Come out with us?
I'll try.
Come on. You'll be fun. Come on. I'll buy you a free ice cream soda.
And I have to give a shout out to our friend Calvin Jefferson.
Oh, yeah. We should.
He's going
that's
to be...
a
Now
great
you're
story
he's
to
going
tell.
That's a story for
Are
another.
we good
that's
with
another-
time?
this story.
We got about 60 seconds.
Got about
Sure.
60
Yeah.
seconds.
Oh,
So-
a client of ours. You tell the story.
No, you do it.
you tell the story.
No, you do it.
Go for it.
No, you do it. Here you go. Here's the Smiths. Go ahead. You know Calvin better than I do. Okay. Client of ours, he is African American, and he runs, now I forget what he runs. That's the reason I forgot. He does the,
He has the heritage
for Monticello.
Monticello. He's the curator of the heritage. I don't want to call it project.
the historical data,
The
right?
historical data for the.
So he's like a librarian by...
That's his son. His son is the.
Yeah.
His
So
son is the
anyway, he's just
director
a
of the-
really neat guy. We met him. He's a client of ours, and we're going to see him up there on the 4th. And so his job is to curate all the from the Sally Hemings side of the what went Monticello up there. So it's neat.
Yeah, and he's a really, and I will never forget the first time I met him. We met at an open house, and the first thing he said to me, he says, "I want to buy a house." I said, "Great, let me see how I can help you." And out of this, obviously formed the relationship. And he said he's coming back home to Virginia to his roots, because there's roots that he has with
he's directly-
with just
he's a descendant.
with descendant. And so his dream is to be involved with Monticello again, and it took him, 3 years, 4 years?
About 3 or
4
4
years to
years,
get there. So every time we go up there, we meet him. And I'm looking forward to seeing him. So good job.
people.
Good people.
I love you guys.
Very interesting. Very
I love you
interesting
guys.
person. Thank you.
This show is awesome. I
Look at
love
his
it.
smile.
I thought it was just great.
Yonna, look at the smile you put on his face. You should come more
Everett,
often.
please.
Say a prayer for the
Please.
Ukrainians.
Please.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
The best of the Ukrainians. Remember what the holiday is all about.
Yep.
Independence, guys, is something that should never, ever be taken for granted. For Judah Wickower, Keith Smith, and Yonna Smith, my name is Jerry Miller. We have Melissa Close-Hart on the I Love CVille show at 12:30. She's the executive chef and part owner of Mockingbird, which is the new restaurant coming to Belmont in the old Junction location.
Oh, cool.
So she's going to show us the menu, talk about the restaurant.
Nice. Good
and
job.
It's opening later this month.
Good.
Yeah, cool.
We'll talk about that today. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
thank you. Happy
man.
4th,
Have fun.
everybody.
Happy
Be
4th.
safe.
Happy 4th.
Judah, thank you.
Thank you.
We're back in 50 minutes, guys. Take care. Well done, Yonna. Well done.
Thank you.
Keith.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was
Thank you.
beautiful.
It was very nice.